Hello, this is Michael Owens with Here Come the Irish, and you're watching the Two Irish Brothers Show. Go Irish.
How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together we make up this little beauty known as the Two Irish Brothers Show. First off, you guys know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share us on Twitter or wherever, because hey, we could use the love. Isn't that right, Ben?
Yep.
And yes, and also I hope you guys enjoyed the 4-part series that our good buddy and colleague George Bashura and myself just finished doing. There actually might be some more coming up with that. We might have some, for lack of a better term, some defense argument, but we'll cover that another day. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, all 4 parts been posted. Make sure to watch them in order. We think you guys will really enjoy it. So first off, Ben, welcome back. It is
thank you,
Ben. Yep, it's been a little while, but hey, 4 parts that covers 4 shows.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
And I hope you enjoyed watching that too with George and myself.
Some interesting points were made. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, now that we're back, the two of us, the 2 original Irish brothers, let's jump right into things. First off, spring practice at Notre Dame is well underway, as everybody knows that by now. They've been going. But a few unfortunate things have happened here in the spring. The big news that was just reported last week, defensive lineman Aiden Kianaina, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He has torn his ACL, which is a big blow to this Irish defensive line.
Yep. And
it's not just the spring that I'm worried about either. When you get an ACL injury this time of year, let's face it,
your season's in jeopardy.
Yes. That injury is going to go into the season, and he could very well miss the entire 2022 season. But this is a kid I'm not going to lie and pretend that I knew a whole lot about him. I just know that he's played in, I think, 3 total games throughout his career.
Yeah, I mean, and with his injury though, it's I would assume that he is a guy, like you said. I mean, I don't know a ton about him either. That was up and coming. I mean, and you hate to see that because the future of the program rests in the hands of those guys. I mean, we see guys that, come in and start to work at their craft and hone it and get better that aren't I guess the best term to use is like a Buckner type where you know him immediately, him even before he's hit Notre Dame, and then they're working their way up and then they get injured. And that's a very sad situation. I mean, and it's got to be disheartening on his end. I mean, so your window of opportunity starts to slowly close, and we can only wish him nothing but the best. I mean, and I hope that, like you said, it doesn't bleed into the season, but when you start talking ACL and stuff, it's scary, man. It's real scary.
Well, and the thing is, it's not something to be completely terrified at because, according to One Foot Down here, the Irish still do have Jacob Lacey and Gabe Rubio amongst others that they can fill in that spot. But it's like a kid like this, you hate to see any kid go down with an injury like this.
Right. And that's my point. It's not scary on the fact that, I mean, football's a violent game. You guys get hurt. I mean, it's X me up all the time. You got to be ready. I mean, that's something that I've said forever. I mean, people, this guy is, every guy that's on that team has to be ready to play at any given moment. I'm sorry. That's how it rolls. But like you said, you hate to see this happen to somebody, whether they're the first string quarterback or they're the second string punter. You don't want to see that. So yeah, no, that stinks. That really stinks.
And sticking on that topic, as I said to start, the injury bug has plagued the Irish here in the spring. It's just been announced. Well, when I say just announced, last week as well. Joe Wilkins is now out for the spring with a broken foot, and this is the main thing that I wanted to talk about with the spring, because first off, you're already out with Avery Davis. Now you're out with Joe Wilkins, because Avery Davis, he got hurt. I forget which game it was. I think it might have been, what was it, Virginia Tech?
Yes.
I think. So he's already been battling an ACL injury. You knew you were going to be without him. So now Joe Wilkins out. So we're only looking at what? I think 5 or 6 receivers.
We're down for 5 healthy receivers.
Yeah, and that's for the spring game coming up.
That's scholarship. I mean, we could get other guys in after the spring.
Right.
But we are down to Deion Colsey, Jaden Thomas, Lorenzo Styles, Braden Lindsay, and Matt Solrano. I mean, it's and this is a foot injury. I mean, as you said, this is not something that you can kind of just, as the old saying goes, rub some dirt on it and get back in there. I mean, this is your feet carry you. I mean, and as a wide receiver, I mean, in any position in football, you got a bad foot, you're in trouble. So,
now do I think Wilkins will be back in time for the season? Yes, but I think he could be slowed a little bit to start the season when it gets here.
Yeah.
So
and this injury is more damage to the cartilage that's between your bones than anything. I mean, this is, in my opinion, almost worse than a broken bone, because that's something that is very thin that, I mean, you could easily crack again or break. So,
right.
This is not a fun thing at all. And that's on a really tender part of your foot. That's on the arch of your foot. So that's yikes. That's no good. That's absolutely no good. And, we were really looking forward to him this year. So I hope it doesn't bleed into the season, but it very well could.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how these kind of injuries work. If he's ready to go for the start of the season, great. But I'm not going to be surprised if he's not. But the key point that I'm getting at with this is, when you have a veteran leader like Joe Wilkins going down, this is definitely going to open up the doors for guys like Colsey and Jaden Thomas and Lorenzo Styles. We're gonna get a chance. We're gonna get a chance to see what they can do in the spring game. For sure. And Styles, we've seen a lot of flashes of, but Deion Colsey and Jaden Thomas, we need to see more of them. And I'll tell you one thing, this is where it would be nice to have Tobias Merriweather in here to get some early reps, but of course he was not an early enrollee. He still has this last semester of high school, but hey, it's okay. It's all right. So still we're getting some younger guys the chance to shine and maybe fit in more of a bigger role, which, hey, they're kind of going to have to come season time anyway.
Right.
But this is stuff that we do not need to have happen. But like you said, it's a violent game. It's a physical game, and you can't be surprised when it does happen.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, on other news with Notre Dame, we got to give our hats off to the Notre Dame basketball team, men and women, for doing what they did, turning around their programs. And Notre Dame hockey, they suffered an unfortunate loss to Minnesota Duluth. I think it was Minnesota State or Minnesota Duluth?
It was Duluth, I do believe.
Okay, it was a 1-0 game, I know that, but fencing national champions.
Repeats.
So yes, there is a lot of success going on with Notre Dame athletics right now, and baseball's on a little bit of a tear.
Baseball's been doing really well again.
Baseball's been doing very well. Lacrosse has been doing very well. So yeah, Notre Dame knows how to get it done. And maybe it doesn't always equal championships, but when you can have a decent run and the basketball tournaments and the hockey tournament, that still says a lot about your program. So hats off to all the other spring sports that have had great turnaround seasons or continuing their path of success.
Yep.
So yes, going back real quick to football, and I want to get your opinion on this, Ben, because myself, I've been scratching my head over this. Now, everybody's for sure that Tyler Buckner is going to be our starter come the start of the 2022 season.
Yes.
And even myself, I'm edging towards that. But I was reading an article the other day that talked about potentially there being another 2-quarterback system that Marcus Freeman might run that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, and also could you see a guy like Drew Pine beating out Tyler Buckner?
The only way I see Drew Pine beating out Buckner would be like playbook. That's the only thing. That's the only way. And you can't even really say that with Buckner because and Pine because we have a new coach. So I don't know. I don't foresee Pine beating out Buckner. I don't. And it's nothing against Pine. It's more just Buckner is that dual threat quarterback where Pine is more of that traditional pocket passer. Yeah, I don't see that. And I also don't see a 2-quarterback system. I don't see that. I don't understand why you would do that. Because if Buckner wins the job, let's say that he wins the job outright, why would you need Drew Pine? Because Buckner's already got the arm and the wheels, where Pine just has the arm. So if it was Pine wins the job, I could maybe doing Buckner like on a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 2 or a goal line situation where if you can't pass it, you can run it, and you're guaranteed that he'll get in. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't see that. And I don't think Freeman would do that. I really don't. Did we do a 2-quarterback system in the Oklahoma State game? I can't even remember now.
I can't remember.
I'd have to go back and watch the game.
I don't know if Tyler Buckner did make an appearance. I mean, if he did, it was very.
I thought we only had one guy playing.
No, it was Jack Cohen the majority of the game, and he did very well. But I
think the reason that he stepped out was because he got injured. So that doesn't count as 2-quarterback system. That counts as an injury, and you got to step out. So I don't see that. I don't understand.
I don't
like that. I don't like the 2-quarterback system. And maybe I've said that differently in the past, but I mean, just seeing with how kind of things rolled this past season with Kelly and kind of that rotating quarterback carousel that we had, I have come to not like the whole 2-quarterback system. I don't like that.
Yeah, you need some stability in there. You need that one go-to guy. I can understand there being packages where you'd use another guy, but no, you can't have 2 quarterbacks going down the field and rotating them from possession to possession. It's just that shows a lack of stability.
If you pulled like what Florida did way back in the early 2000s when they had Tebow and he was like a freshman, I remember they ran him like on the goal line and stuff. But that was more just because he was a big dude. I mean, he was a big dude from day one.
Yeah, and Oklahoma did the same thing with Blake Bell.
That's way different because that's not him like rotating in. That's more like, okay, we're going to put the fridge back there for one play.
Yes, exactly.
And get a touchdown. I mean, that's not a 2-quarterback system. That's a once in a blue moon. So
well, exactly, and that's what Oklahoma used to do with Blake Bell. The Bell Dozer. Right. They would usually put him in at goal line situations or a 3rd and 1 when they needed to get the first down. But he was not their starter.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, and I hadn't even seen that article. If that's so.
Well, another thing too, with just talking about the quarterback battle in general, is the only thing that could possibly hurt Buckner is his throwing accuracy. But that's again where you've got the whole spring to work on that.
Yeah, and
he did have issues with that in his freshman year.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't foresee that. But staying on the Freeman front, and this whole like kind of, I don't know, like rebirth, if you will, to our program here at Notre Dame. mass before the player walk has come back.
Yes, I did see that.
Brian Kelly got rid of it in 2011, and we have seen it return under Marcus Freeman. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think that embodies Notre Dame. That goes along with Touchdown Jesus and all that. So
you are
I don't know how you feel about it, but I like it.
You are a faith-based institution, and I always loved the pregame player mass, and you're talking to someone who's not even Catholic. I'm actually a Lutheran, but that's beside the point. We're not making this a religious discussion, people, but it is a big deal at Notre Dame, and that was always a cool thing. Players going to mass, then walking to the stadium, and a little prayer before the game probably wouldn't hurt, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and on the other side of it too, I'm Catholic. I'm critical Catholic and all that, and I won't go any further than that. But look at the camaraderie, A, and B, look at the kind of like unity and how you affect the community by doing those things. This is not just, okay, we play football, we go play football, we're done. This is, we play football, we're seen in the community by going to mass and walking the stadium and all that. And that creates an even bigger and better atmosphere, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
it's a great atmosphere. I love it. And
so I think it's great.
Yes, I 100% agree. I think it's a great thing that Marcus Freeman is bringing this back. And yeah, the unity of it is the biggest part of all. So yeah, more huge news out of Notre Dame. And Ben, one last thing to talk about, and just everybody, so we're kind of keeping this on the short side for this episode, but the USFL 2 weeks away. Yep. 2 weeks away. We have
week after baseball starts. I'm excited.
Which I honestly didn't think baseball would be back for a while, but they surprised the hell out of me. But you know what? I don't care. We're talking more football here. I'm more excited. It's crazy. I'm more excited about the USFL than MLB opening day.
Well, but that's because you're a Cubs fan. So
hey, we've won a World Series in recent history, so watch your mouth there, buddy. So with the USFL, and I'm still sticking on the Houston Gamblers.
And I decided to stay. I was thinking about going to the Generals, but you know what? I'm going to stay with the Gamblers. We're going to make it fun. We're both going to root for the same team. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I was kind of hoping you'd cheer for another team, so that way we could make some interesting bets.
Nah, we can still make some interesting bets if you want.
Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But so the last time we talked about this on video, the USFL was in the middle of a lawsuit because they were being sued by previous owners and staff members and all that. I haven't heard much news about that because the season's still looking to be played as scheduled. Nothing really has stopped that. But one interesting thing too is they came out with the official rules of the USFL. So I thought we'd take a quick time to talk about some of them. Mostly they're the same kind of rules that were in the XFL revival, which they still have the 1, 2, and 3 point after touchdown. And it looks like 1 point, just your typical field goal from the 15-yard line. 2 points. 2 points, play from the 2-yard line, and then three points from the 10-yard line. Yeah. So think about it. You could be down 9 points, and that be a one-possession game.
Yep, that's crazy.
And then let's see.
Crazy. And exciting.
Yes.
Exciting.
Oh, yeah, it could make things very interesting.
Well, and the next one, if you're going down the same list I'm going down, the next one makes it even more crazy with the onside kicks. We're on the same page?
Yes, the teams will have two different options to retain the ball after scoring. It'll be option one will be the traditional onside kick from the 25-yard line, but this is the one I like. You could run 1 4th and 12 play from your own 33 to get a first down and retain possession or get the possession again.
Yep.
So that looks like a lot of fun too.
Dude, we could seriously, I can't remember. There was a special. We're gonna digress for 1 second. There was a special on this program. I think it was high school. It might have been college, but I think it was high school. And the coach never kicked, ever. Like, never kicked. Always did, like, if he counted as a kick, an onside kick, and always did 2-point conversion. So, dude, we could have that happen here. We could seriously have some team in the USFL never actually kick the ball, ever.
It's possible. I mean, of course, you're not. I mean, of course, I seriously doubt they're going to go for for the onside kick or the fourth and 12 play after early in the game. But you're right; they could never actually physically kick the ball.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. So yeah, no. Okay, moving on.
Overtime. So it looks like I'm just reading it off the Fox Sports page here. Overtime will be a shootout in which each team's offense will alternate plays against the opposing defense from the 2-yard line. Each team will run a total of 3 plays, and each successful scoring attempt will receive 2 points. The team with the most points after each team has run its 3 plays wins.
Yep.
So basically, it's a 3-inning game, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. And don't forget the final part of that kicker. If the score is tied after each of the 3 plays have been run, then subsequent attempts will be made in a sudden death until a winner is declared. So, yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, and then, of course, they're bringing the 2 forward passes rule over from the USFL. But, of course, this has to be behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, you can't – a running back can't take the ball and then when he breaks away, throw it downfield to a receiver or something. Instant replay. Each coach will be allowed 1 challenge. Fox Command will be of Los Angeles will be in control of that. So defensive pass interference, you can challenge that. And then let's see. However, a defender intentionally tackling a receiver beyond 15 yards past line of scrimmage would be a spot foul. Okay, so a few differences there, but
yeah.
Let's see,
no like craziness like the 4th and 12 on onside kick or for an onside kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of kickoffs, all kickoffs will be from the 25-yard line. No kicking team member may line up any further back than 1 yard, while the receiving team must have a minimum of 8 players in the setup zone between their 35 and 45-yard lines. After a kickoff travels 20 yards, the first touch must be by the receiving team. If an untouched kick becomes dead, the ball belongs to the receiving team at that spot. So not quite the kickoff rules from the XFL.
Yeah, a little different, but exciting nonetheless.
Well, all I know is based on those rules, anyone would be crazy not to give this this revamped or reboot of the USFL a try. All I know is I can't wait for April 16th. I am looking so forward to watching that. Should be a lot of fun. And no, these aren't big name guys, but these are guys that are either they're playing professional football for the first time or they're getting a second chance.
Right.
And that deserves all the credit in the world because these guys are going to give you their absolute best because they're going to want to try to make it to the next level.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens,
And of course, Houston Gamblers all in.
Yep. Rolling the dice, baby.
Yes, rolling the dice. Clayton Thorson, our starting quarterback. Can't wait to see the team in action. So on that note, Ben, anything else you'd like to add?
I got nothing, Sean.
All right. Well, on that note, I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, God bless, good night, and go Irish.
Go Irish.